Hey guys, happy Tuesday. I hope everyone's having a nice day so far and enjoyed some of the Monday sunshine. I know that I did. Today we're going to read chapter 7 and then we'll go over what you guys are going to do today on Google Classroom. It's pretty much the exact same thing as Monday, so we will talk about that. So chapter 7. We gotta get out of here, Tuck panted, pacing furiously, looking at the walls all around them. He jumped up against the back wall again and again. The wall was lower and didn't seem to be part of a building like the others, but it was still too tall to jump. It's no use, Brody said, turning reluctantly to face the approaching dogs. We're going to have to fight our way out. Fight our way out? Against 4 of them? No chance, buddy. Maybe, but no choice either, Tuck. Tuck turned a few more anxious circles, nose sniffing and eyes racing. The other dogs were almost with them now, in the wall blot. Then finally he stopped pacing. He came to rest standing beside Brody so that their shoulders touched. He stretched his jaw, stilled his tail. All right, he said, and his voice was tense but no longer panicked. Here's the plan. We split up. I'll go after the fast one, that spotted mutt. I'll pin him. First chance you get, slip past the other 3 and scram. You're way faster than them. You'll make it. Once you're out, I'll try to shake him too. We can meet back at the park where we started. Tuck looked at Brody, and his next words, low and serious, into Brody's eyes. If I'm not at the park, go without me. Go find your boy. Do what you gotta do. No, Tuck, listen, No time to argue, buddy. And then Tuck squared his shoulders to face the oncoming beasts. He shook the quivers out of his neck. And Brody? Brody thought about arguing for a moment, but then blew out a deep breath and did the same. Those 2 brave-hearted dogs, they were ready. Together they waited to battle for their souls. But then a hissed voice. Good Lord, are you 2 really this stupid? Tuck and Brody both jumped in surprise. Their heads snapped back to find the voice that had spoken from somewhere behind them. A cat sat behind a garbage can against the wall at their backs. She was scrawny and ribs showing thin, her long hair a patchy mix of brown and black and white. She had one furry ear that pivoted around listening. There was just a scarred pink little stump where the other ear should have been. For a second, Brody couldn't figure out how she could see them, and how they could hear her. And then he saw the faint glowing shimmering around her fur, and the little golden light circling her. There were only 4 or 5, but they were there. The cat was dead, just like them. She blinked slowly and yawned. She looked tough and bored. What? What do you mean? Brody asked. Shh! They don't know I'm here, Fido. Be cool. Look at them. Brody reluctantly turned his eyes back to the 4 dogs, who had finally strutted into the open space and had spread out, still coming toward them. Their black eyes glittered hungrily as they came, and their dangling tongues licked at their lips. Do you mutts actually think you're trapped? The cat whispered. You gotta be brand new or super stupid, or both. Yeah, probably both. Brody ignored her insults. The bad dogs were only getting closer, and the cat's words had given him some hope. We're not trapped? Brody asked quietly, his eyes still on the dogs. I'm seeing a lot of walls, cat. Sure, and if you had bodies, those walls would be a problem, wouldn't they? And then in a flash, Brody got it. He remembered the dogs disappearing out of brick walls to catch up to them, and it clicked in his brain. Tuck, he whispered. These dogs can run through walls. I saw it. Great, he answered. That doesn't help us much, buddy. If they can, Brody replied, we can. Tuck looked at him. How do we do it? Brody asked the cat, backing up toward the wall. What do you mean, how? These walls couldn't stop you if they tried. From the corner of his eye, he saw the cat stand up and stretch, her eyes closed in pleasure. I mean, you do know you're dead, right? Well, yeah, but... Hold on a sec. The cat interrupted and then disappeared backward through the wall. Brody's mouth dropped open. The cat had just sauntered right back through the bricks and out of sight. Brody blinked sideways at the wall, and then turned back to face the dogs. Where'd she go? Tuck asked, but before Brody could answer, Darkly cut in. Nowhere to go, fellas, he said, his voice smug with satisfaction. One of the others spoke up, talking under his breath to Darkly, but loud enough for Brody to hear. Hey, boss, why don't they just... Zip it, Scully, Darkly warned. They're fresh, remember? And we're going to teach them a bit how this world works, ain't we? They all closed in a few steps more. I think I'm going to start with the ugly black one this time. See how his soul tastes. Aw, save some for us, boss, Thump protested. Don't worry, Darkly reassured him. These 2 is so fresh there'll be plenty for everyone. I just get mine first, got it? Well then who's second? Scully asked. Me, right? No way, Scully. I've been here longer. Right, Darkly? I'm next, right? Tuck and Brody stood there, listening to them argue about who got the second shot at their eternal souls. From behind them, Brody saw a faint glow behind the garbage can. He snuck a look and saw that the cat had stuck her scarred head back through the wall. You guys had enough fun? She whispered. Or do you want to get out of here? Follow me, I think I got this figured out. Her head disappeared and then reappeared a moment later. Oh. First time can be tricky, I guess, especially for idiots. Just remember, the wall is there, but you ain't. You only hit the wall if you expect to hit it. Don't think about it, just walk through it. Like it's one of them doggy doors or whatever. Brody and Tuck looked at each other. What do you think? Tuck asked. I think we've got no other options. Tuck wagged his tail. Let's give it a shot, buddy. Brody turned back to Darkly and his gang. They were a little too close for comfort. I'd worry less about taking turns on our souls, he said, cutting into their argument, and worrying more about that angel behind you. All four heads snapped quickly around. Because those dogs, they were bad, but they weren't the smartest pups in obedience school. Brody and Tuck spun around, and without time to think about it, they jumped at the wall. To Brody, it felt crazy, jumping straight at a wall. When his paws hit the pavement again, he was on the other side of the wall, on a sidewalk with a road in front of him, and a supposedly solid brick wall at his back. Tuck was beside him, and his whole body was wagging. That was awesome, Tuck crowed. Then he looked back at the wall. But I guess we better run. This way, the cat called out from the street. She was running flat out, her one ear back and her tail down. There wasn't time to think about it. They bounded after her. They gained on the cat real quick. She was fast, but she was still a cat. Behind them, they could hear the snarling growling of four hungry, very angry, very dead dogs. What's the plan? Brody asked the cat, pulling up beside her. That truck, she answered, her eyes still straight ahead. Brody looked. One of the vehicles stopped at the light was a truck. One of those big ones people use to haul stuff around. The back of it, though, wasn't a big metal box like most of them were. It was just a big flat wooden platform, empty and waiting. How are we going to get up there? Just follow me, Pooch. Brody looked back. Running at the cat's speed, the trio was losing ground to the dogs at their heels. They were going to get caught before they could even make it to the truck. We're not going to make it, Brody warned. The cat lowered her head and pumped her legs harder, trying to squeeze more speed out of them. It didn't work. Tuck said, Come on, let's speed this up a bit. He drifted toward the cat, his mouth open. The cat saw him coming. Don't shoot! But the cat didn't have a chance to finish her threat. Brody grabbed the back of her neck in his teeth and scooped her right up in mid-stride, holding her dangling from his jaws as he ran. Up ahead, the stoplight turned green. The line of cars started crawling into motion, their red taillights blinking off car by car as they began to move forward. The first car, the second car, the third, and the flatbed truck. How are we going to get up there? Brody asked again. The cat growled stubbornly in Tuck's jaws and swiped at him fruitlessly with her claws. The truck rumbled as it began to move forward. Come on, do you have a plan or not? Brody shouted. The parked car, the cat finally spat out. Use the car. Got it, Tuck? Brody asked. Yep, buddy, we got this. He surged ahead, the cat still bouncing around in his clenched teeth. The truck was picking up speed. It was halfway past the car now. Tuck got there first. He sprang from the street to the car's trunk, then up to its roof, barely slowing at all. A couple of steps along the roof of the car, and then he leapt, his body wrenching and soaring through the streetlight glow. Tuck, he was quite a sight, flying sleek and silky through the night, his soul glittering all around him, his mouth full of furious cat. Quite a sight, quite a dog. He landed atop the truck's flatbed and skidded to a halt. Brody was right behind him. A determined jump to the truck, not as effortless as Tuck's, but he made it. Then to the roof, losing speed but not taking his eyes off the truck. Jump, Brody! Tuck called. Brody jumped with everything he had. He hung in the air. For a moment, the world was soundless. It was close. Man, it was close. It would have been tempting for a watching angel to help him, but none did. His front paws touched down on the strained wood of the truck's bed. His back paws fell just short, but his momentum carried him forward. Nice jump, buddy, Tuck said. Thanks, Brody said, standing up and shaking his head. The cat still dangled from Tuck's mouth. She wasn't squirming anymore. She was just hanging there, her few little soul lights circling around her sulking head. Her good ear was pointed straight back. The fur all over her skinny body was puffed out in fury. Her eyes smoldered with anger so clear Brody could almost smell it. He didn't remember much about his life yet, but he was pretty sure he'd never seen an animal madder than that cat. Put Me down. Yeah, I'd put her down, Tuck. Tuck opened his mouth and the cat fell to a truck bed with a thump. Tuck stood there, wagging his tail and grinning like he was expecting a thank you. The cat rose up on her paws. If you weren't already dead, she snarled, low and growly, I'd kill you. Tuck's wagging slowed. What? Why? Brody stepped between them toward the end of the truck bed. The truck was moving along pretty fast now, and he walked slowly to keep his balance. The dogs were close, only a few running strides behind the truck, really, but the truck was picking up speed and starting to leave them behind, and they had no way to get up to where Brody stood watching them. They'd made it. The dogs weren't giving up, though. They ran on, their teeth bared, and their eyes flashy angrily. Darkley still had Brody's soul light swirling around him. We'll get you, he roared. Tuck joined Brody at the back of the truck, his tail beating happily. He seems upset, Tuck said. Yeah, Brody agreed. The big yellow dog with the devilish black eyes was falling more behind by the second, but his eyes never left where they stood on the back of the truck. Golden retrievers are known for their friendliness, relaxed demeanor, and generous good nature, Tuck said. He cocked his head at Brody. Maybe that's just the ones that are actually alive. Brody didn't answer. He was remembering the pain, the unbearable agony of having a piece of his soul torn away. And he was looking at that demon dog's unblinking eyes and his determined, tireless runs. He wasn't going to stop, Brody knew. That dog, that soulless, snarling hound, was a predator, and Brody's soul was the prey. That's the end of the chapter. All right, so today, again, it's just similar to yesterday, so you're going to do the check-in. Yesterday's question of the day was, would you rather eat a whole cup of or a jar of mayonnaise or a whole cup of hot sauce? And actually, more people felt like they would rather eat a cup of hot sauce, which I would probably do too, because I really don't like mayonnaise. And I feel like you could take your time and do it. So you're going to do the check-in, and then you're going to finish your plan from Monday. So if you already finished it, you don't have to do anything else. You're just going to read and do your exact path. If you didn't finish it, you're going to read, do your exact path, and then you're just going to finish your plan sheets. That way on Wednesday, you're able to copy and paste your introduction from last week, and then you're actually going to start writing your body paragraphs. All right. Remember, you guys have a Zoom with Mrs. Bustler today, so if you want to join that, the link is in the weekly plan, and I'll put it on Google Classroom as well. And I think it's at 3 o'clock. So if you want to see Mrs. Bustler and do whatever she's doing in her Zoom, you can click on that. If not, I will see you guys on Wednesday. Have a good day, guys. Bye.